Sorry. I had to bring my computer up because, much to the dismay of our communications team, I keep messing up my speech literally until about 3 seconds ago. I'm Jim Baessler. I'm your associate director. I do a bunch of different things for the council, pretty much anything Stacy doesn't want to do. But I work with the comms team. I work with the state team to help with bargaining. Mostly Jay does the work, and I just go, yeah, Jay, you're right. But I also work with the political team. But the thing I like the most, the thing that gets me I like to fix problems. It's my favorite thing. I like to turn problems into opportunities. And I'm lucky, because we have lots of opportunities. But we have this skill, and we have the ability to fix those problems. We do a lot of things really well. We do our political, I'm too far behind my slides, okay, second. We punch above our weight. I said it last night. By the way, I'm trying not to cry tonight. I told my daughter last night, she's like, Daddy, Baessler's crying in her car. Sweetie, you're so right. I always tell my kids it's okay to have heels, but keep to yourself. We're Midwestern. We do things that we do more with less resources than any other organization in the state. We pass more bills, we get better contracts, and we're more innovative. We invent new ways to help our workers every day. We don't have the largest membership, but we have the best membership. We don't have the most actions, but we have the most strategic wins, right? We're not in every single fight, we can't be. But we're in the front of the most important fights that happen in this state. One of the things that, because I do elections, I care so much about elections. This year, one of the things we've done really well, we supported great candidates from both parties. We had an incredibly diverse set of candidates elected, both diverse in the sense of more BIPOC candidates as our head of legislature, but also different ideas, different good ideas. And we help, and it's helping us pass real legislation right now. We are tackling issues around workers' comp, one of the hardest issues that workers can face, and one of the hardest situations in their lives. We're actually getting some real progress there. We're working on pension expansion. It's not across the board. I'm not making PERS 1,000 times better. I wish I was. But instead of having defense all the time, we're actually starting to go back out there and start to fix those little problems around the state. And we're also working on worker safety, making real changes in worker safety. And all those things are very difficult because our opponents, there's so many of them, and they stack up against us. But we're still making real things, getting real things done. We also, we don't engage in politics to help elected officials, right? We engage in politics to help you, help our members, to help those win, to make our communities and our families' lives better. And we're on track this year to pass, like I said, more bills than anyone else. Most unions walk in and they've got, 2 or 3 legislative priorities, and maybe they get one and they feel like that's a good session. We're mildly deranged, and we rolled in with like a dozen. And I think we're working on this session with like 9 significant pieces of legislation to help our members. One of the things we've learned is strength plus strategy gets you good contracts. That's how we do it, right? You can be the smartest person in the room, or you can have the most members, but if you don't have both, you don't walk into it with both of those things, we can't. We talked about, Stacy talked, Elizabeth talked about the massive win that happened in OHSU, right? The significant increases to COLAs, setting a new standard around the state. That didn't just happen, right? Obviously, they deserve it. You all deserve COLAs like that. You all deserve good contracts like that. But deserving and getting aren't the same thing. They had to fight, and they had to fight smart. They got to the place where OHSU, one of the largest employers in the state, one of the most popular employers in the state, we pulled them, because I checked. I pull everybody. We got them so freaked out. They thought they were going to shut that hospital down. And we hadn't got them freaked out. If they hadn't added 300 new members in a week and a half, right? If they hadn't picked strategic, smart actions that started really, really freaking out that hospital, they never would have got it. It was both. It was building the strength and being strategic and thoughtful in how they were doing it that got them those wins. Those are lessons every single local can learn, right? That's not just something that only works at OHSU. That works all the time. You know, think about it. Can you get 10% more members? Can you do an action that has a ripple effect and get everyone talking about it? Can you show strength strategically and slowly build that strength so you can escalate it in a way that gets us there? The other thing is, we are in dire need, right? But dire need plus crazy ideas, that's how you get innovation, right? You don't get innovation when everything's going well. You get innovation when you think you're doomed. I was going to use a swear word, but I'm getting out of it. When you think you're in the most worst situation possible, that's when you start thinking about crazy stuff. That's when you start trying different things, right? So, behavioral health, dire need. I don't think there's any other way to say it. So what do? We create a first in the country apprenticeship, right? And most people think of apprenticeships, they think electricians, carpenters, right? Not behavioral health. So, but what do? We say, that's a good model, why don't we steal it? Why don't we morph it? Why don't we change it? Why don't we make it work for this group of workers, right? It was that dire need plus trying something new that creates this new model. And then we're partnering with employers. Employers who, I think told Stacy, over my dead body will I ever unionize. And now they're clamoring to join this apprenticeship program because they know this is the solution. We talked about the child care fund. And it's small, it's little grants to help child care providers grow. That's a crazy idea. Because we normally say, okay, well, I'll go to the legislature and we'll get funding for an agency to do that. We're like, we're not going to give the agency the money to go help build child care. The state can't do it. So we'll do it. You give us the money, legislature. Give us $8 billion. We'll give it out. Trust us. And that, by the way, that's literally our lobbying strategy. And they're like, oh, okay, sure. The state doesn't seem to do it. Fine, here's $8 million. They gave us $8 billion to give out grants to child care providers. The trust, that was us. Was not trust, a separate organization, sorry. But that was a crazy idea, but there was a dire need. Like, not just for our child care providers, but for all of our members, they can't find child care. And not just you who have kids, but your coworker who can't show up because they have kids. It's a ripple effect. So, you might say, how do we learn this? Is it all magic? It is, but it's not David Copperfield magic. It's David Clayton magic, right? It's ugly magic. That's good, I think. That's good. Well, I want to do that. She's like, I don't want to do that. It's dirty. It's rough. It's bumpy. It's screwy, but it works, right? And it is magic. It's hard. Who would have thought that we could form a trust with employers who hated us 2 years ago, and now they love us. They're the most fun people to lobby with. Who would have thought we've been doing these things? But we learned a bunch of stuff on the way, and these are things that we learned that I think everyone can learn, everyone can use. One, coordination, like internally. We did something in the last year or so, Corey Nicholson headed it up. We restructured our staff. I know it sounds as sexy as it is, but we restructured our staff. We created program managers to sort of help support the staff, but also to coordinate amongst the different silos. Right? Representation work, organizing new members, politics, they're all super important. They all help the members. But unless they're talking to each other, they're not at their best. And now we're talking to each other regularly. We're figuring out, how do we, the organizing department knows what political's doing, right? So when they're organizing a new unit, one of the first things they're doing is checking with the political team. Hey, do you know the folks on the board of this nonprofit? How can we help put pressure in the right place, right? Politics knows what negotiations are going badly or what negotiations are going well. So we can help step in and talk to local government leaders there, right? Are we coordinating? Are we talking? That means you have to make sure you're communicating up to the reps so that they can communicate up to their side, so we can all know what's going on, so we can work together. We don't want to roll in at the end and find out, uh-oh, we're in trouble. Let us know as soon, as soon as you start feeling bad, tell your doctor. As soon as you start thinking something's going wrong, tell your staff rep. Start getting that stuff up there so we can coordinate, make a plan, and attack. We also need to we're working now building these caucuses. Lamar and Percy are spearheading this effort to sort of build our caucuses up. And it's so important to make sure every voice that in our union is being heard, has a space to be heard, because that's where good ideas come from. That's where smart things happen. That's so important, and also feeds into the coordination. Finally, we also need to take the smarts from our different locals around and start communicating back and forth to each other. And I think that's something we've learned is so much value. The work we did on the workers' comp bill we're working on, locals from all over the place, a lot of them road crew folks, have been starting to tell us, these are the problems we're seeing. This is the stuff that's hitting us. And so maybe it starts in one place, but then we're hearing it from other places, and then we can get a cacophony of members talking about how important it is to fix this problem. And that's the only way we win. It's the only way we win. So, one of the other big lessons is member engagement. Members are our power, right? We can have the smartest, cleverest proposal to throw in front of management and a team, but if your membership's 42%, it doesn't matter. You have to build your membership. You have to have power, right? And good contracts only come from building membership. Every contract campaign has to start with a membership rep. We have to build it up. We have to talk to them. For SACU recently, SACU, we've been trying for months to get an LOA on overtime. You know what? But we had one march, over 50 people, members, staff, marching around that building, breaking them out, and next week we get movement finally, after months and months and months. It's that action, it's that turnout, it's that engagement from the members and showing them this. It's not asking, it's together, right? It's not me, it's asking, but I used to say that. It's not as funny, right? But we really got to make sure that we're getting folks excited, showing them their power, getting everyone sort of engaged in these fights, because that's how we win. We also have to be creative. We have to be creative. We have to start thinking about, like, how can we do things differently? We have been struggling with our 24/7s and overtime and fighting for anything we can get. But we haven't had the agencies really pay attention. They're like, oh yeah, it's bad. Like, great, you know you're the boss, right? You know you have to like start thinking about these things. So this time, this legislative session, we used a bill that was going to force their hand on allowing our folks to say no to overtime. It was actually an idea I stole from the Bakers Union, but it got to the point that it was going to be unwieldy. The bill was going to be really hard, but it forced our 24/7s to bring a letter of agreement to the table that we were able to sign and get to. We actually forced them to have a real conversation about this. So we use legislation in a way, not just to pass a bill, normally just pass a bill, make the law. But now we're using it to force them at the table to do what we need them to do. So being creative, thinking about how to use the tools we have in our toolbox in a different way. So these are the things we've learned. How are we going to be better? That's the biggest thing, right? Because like, I love us, we're great, but we can always be better. Every day you can be better. One of the things I think, when I think of, as more members need to get involved. We talk about member turnout, we talk about engagement all the time, but we need more folks, right? And that means, that's sort of, you are all here, so obviously I don't mean you're here. But it means you're going to have to engage more members. You're going to have to listen to new ideas. You're going to have to listen to ideas that are not new, but they're from new people that you might think are dumb, but maybe they are. The person who's telling you is a new person who's engaged. The way to shut that down, the way to get people not to be engaged, is to hear an idea and you say, "We tried that before." No, right? That never helps. Don't do that. Don't say no. Say yes and. Right? Say, that's interesting. We've tried it this way. It didn't really work. But what if we took your idea and tried it a little bit differently? Right? Get them engaged. Get them excited. Make them feel like they're part of this union, because they are part of this union. They are leaders in waiting. Right? But you've got to listen. And you got to like, even stuff like I said. And I'm bad at this sometimes. I'm like, I've been around for a long time. And I'm like, no, I tried that like 15 years ago and it did not work. Like, shut up, Joe. There might be better at it than you, right? They might try something that is totally nuts, but why not? Because we got to get more folks there, right? Because think about it, like if you had, we're doing a candidate interview and there's 3 members or there's 30 members, which one's better? 30, right? It scares the crap out of a legislator when you have an interview with 30 members sitting around the table, because most folks only have 3, right? If you're doing a rally, is it better to have 30 folks or 100 folks, right? 100 folks is scary. Like that's a scary number of folks. I'm mildly terrified of all of you right now. You know, if you're going to do, like, employers, electeds, the press, they notice the numbers matter. And so the way to get those numbers is to engage, be pleasant, have fun, and get folks like, you're actually listening to them, you're actually hearing them. We also need, the other thing is, we need better candidates. I love our elected officials. I'm so happy so many of them showed up last night. I hope they're not here now. We need better ones, right? We need better ones. As Stacey said yesterday, like, we need folks who understand us. Like, it's nice they came and to listen and to talk to them, but if they never felt it, they don't know, then it's not real to them, right? So we need better. Like, I can do a lot with a candidate, right? But an artist can only work with the tools he is given. And so I need better candidates. I need better tools. I should call candidates tools. Tooling. So run, right? Run. You don't want to run, find your neighbor to run. Find some sucker in your local to run. Run. Like, we'll train you. We'll train you. We'll help you figure out how to get the money. We'll figure to run the campaign. We'll figure out how to help you win. Come to us early. Dan Torres, even though he broke my heart, now runs Labor Candidate School, right? Dan Torres is smart. Dan Torres will help you run, help you win. But, you know, if you don't like the leaders you have, then you have to lead. We need members to run. And so, please, give me better tools. Help us get run. We also need better ideas, right? We keep trying the same stuff over again, and it's not always working. We need better ideas. And the only way to get better ideas is to keep talking with different people, talking with different folks around us. We have so many members in the same field, but all over the state. So one of the ideas we have is, can we put together policy workers, right? Can we start getting those smarts from different places and start talking to each other? Public health, right? Worker safety, workers' comp, those issues. Can we bring together people who, from different places, maybe they tried different stuff. Maybe they tried different stuff that kind of worked but didn't quite work. Maybe they tried different stuff that was a complete disaster. We shouldn't probably do that, but we should think about it, right? Can we come together and bring those folks, those voices from different places? And now, like, the one nice thing about the pandemic is we're all really too, right? So there's ways to do that affordably and well that we can sort of bring those voices together. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is how we can do our politics better. I come out of the political department. I love the political department. This is the thing that I can't sleep at night. This is why last night I woke up in the middle of the night and thought, I should say that to this legislator. Right? This is the thing that drives me nuts, and I always want to do better. I always think we can do better. You know, one of the things I think that's hard for us is we know what we need, and we know what's right, and we know what should happen, right? We should be able to get this raise. The law around workers' comp should be this way. The law around public employee collective bargaining should be this way. Our pensions should be this. And we tend to fall in this trap where we tell legislators, well, this is the way, this is what's right, this is what it should be. And that doesn't always work. Right? We need to really focus on member stories, right? You don't tell someone this is what it should be. You tell people how it is and how bad it is, and let them come to the conclusion that our solution is right? Get them to understand the need, get them to understand how bad it is, and then say, and this is what we think you should do. And you can draw the line. But you have to help us. Like, I can tell your story, but it's not as effective as you telling your story. I need more people to testify. right? I need more people to talk. When the comms department says, hey, can you come outside and tell us a quick story at the video? I need everybody to do it, right? I need more stories of the week so we can get legislators involved and engaged. We need more folks. We represent 35,000 folks. We have 100 folks in this room. Like, that's powerful when you start telling your stories. And frankly, no one can tell your stories better than you. Nobody. Are you working crazy amount of overtime? Have you gotten beat up at work? Right? Have you gotten hurt at work and you can't seem to make ends meet anymore? Right? Those are things we need to know and we need to go tell, and we'll help you. We'll help you. We'll make it so easy and so empowering, but we need you to do it. And we'll love you for it deeply. Manjari, like, she loves it. It's her favorite thing. Yeah, a lot of things also is we got to figure out, like, we got to celebrate our wins, but keep working. And I think a lot of times our bills, we'll pass them, we'll get as good as we can get, and it won't be what we want. That doesn't mean we're done, right? It doesn't mean we're done. It doesn't mean we stop. That's over. We're going to keep plugging away. We're going to keep chipping away, but it's chipping away. It's slowly moving. It's churning. It's getting it done. I joke with the legislative staff all the time, and I say, legislators come and go, but we remain. We will be here before them. We will be here after them, because AFSCME is always going to be here. We're always going to keep working, and so we have to figure out how we can make incremental change, long term. The arc of history is long, and our bills will win eventually. So we're really thinking about how we can make sure we take those wins, celebrate them, and go, great, that was a great win. Okay, how are we going to do better next time? Right? And I think that, and not sort of like, oh man, Joe didn't pass my bill this time. That's how I feel every day. That's why I cry in the car on the way home, because I didn't pass enough of your bills. But that's fine. We can still come back and get it. So don't be too discouraged. Let's keep churning. Let's keep going. And then I also wanted to talk about, I talked about AVP a little bit last night, AVIP. AVIP are Asking Values in Practice. Like, this is a different way, a lot of times political money is big checks, right? We take a little bit of dues and we give it to legislators. This is a different way of raising money. It's harder. It's way harder, but it's better, right? Because it's not just about the money to legislators. It's not just about giving money to local government races. We will do that, and that is super important. But it's about having those individual conversations. That's what's hard. Not the actual ask, because most members say, sure, as soon as you ask them, right? No, that's not a problem. But it's getting out and talking to as many folks as you need to talk to. And I think that's part of that's the goal. So we're going to be doing that this summer. The political team's going to be doing a lot of that after session. And we're going to be tough. We're going to want members who understand the work we're doing, understand its importance, to sort of be in those rooms and say, yeah, no, you should do this, other members, because this matters. So help us have those conversations. Help us move this forward. Because the more conversations we have, the more people who hear it, understand, and get it, the less time you're going to hear, I hate politics, blah, blah. Yeah, everybody hates politics, except for me, because I do it for a living. But, but that doesn't matter. You can hate it all day long. It doesn't mean it goes away. It would be awesome if you could just be like, you know what? No, let's not do it anymore. That's not how it works. So we got to engage in that stuff. So that's pretty much the end of my speech. I just want to say, let's do this stuff. Let's do some crazy stuff. Let's see what we can do, right? Let's be great.